You're able to see my screen now. Okay, so we were on implicit objects, right? We are done with implicit objects and we were in directives. So under directives, we have seen something called page directive, which is in page, and we had include and we had tag link, right? So in page directive, we have seen almost like input. You have seen content type, extends, info, and all, right? So today we are going to start class with something called error page. So we have two tag groups, which is error page, and we have something called is error page. Okay. These are the two things which we have. So error page is something which conveys that whether the page you are working is an end error page or not. So with respect to the website, right, every time whenever you get any exception in a page, right, you should always redirect to some pages which are called error pages, right? You should not display the same error in the same page. That we have done yesterday, right? I mean, in the previous class, what we have done is, so we just handle try catch, and we just handle catch here. And what we did was we just displayed the error in the same a page, right? So sometimes, yes, you can do that when a certain component of page is giving exception. But most of the time, what you should do is you should always redirect an error to certain page. Right? So that is what you should always do, right? So let us see how we can actually do that part. Let me create some pages again. So here let me create a page. Create page 6. Now before that, let me create a page called error page. Something you can keep any my error, right, .jsp, right? So here first what we have to do is, so in order to make this page as a common error page for all pages, right, so what we need to do is we need to use a page directive, which is, you can just say at the rate page directive, and you have an directive attribute called error page, right? Or it is error page. Just say it as true. So whenever you say this error page as true, right, you can use this page in any other pages as an error page. So here let me take it as some error happen. Please contact that. Okay. We'll see how we can actually improve the concept of this error page. So basically, so you have an error page, you have to use this directive of page with is error page attribute as true, right? Then the whole suite application will know that, okay, so this is gonna be error page. Now let's go back to page 6 here. Now let us say from index, I'm actually redirecting to page 6. So in my page 6, what I'm going to do here is, so you have to mention whenever any error happens, where do you want to go. So for that, we have to use a page directory called error page. Here you have to give the page name, right? Now the page name is my error.jsp, right? So that is how your directory page directory will help you in actually redirecting whenever any exception happens to the current page to the error page. So let us create as error here. Now let us say I'm just taking this. Let's say I have I is equal to 10 divided by 0. A simple exception I have. So from my page index.jsp, when I click on this button, go right, it will go to page 6, and immediately we have written a simple scriptlet where I'm just doing error bar here. And you can see here I'm not handling any sort of try catching. I'm not doing that, right? So why I'm not doing? Because this is something which will handle everything, right? Now let me run this page now. So let me start this. Here you can give anything because we are not anyways handling this. And when you click on go, so basically it gave something called phone error, which is this, right? So it should take us to this part. Basically, this is some design. Okay, in page 6 we have error page is equal to my error. So is that correct? My error dot JSP, right? And whenever any error happens, it should directly go to this part, right? And we just said, okay, is error page is true, right? We handle this is error page is true, and when we run this up, we should directly get into this and just say, hello happened and please contact admin. So that is what we should normally take. Okay? So let me restart this again and run this. Okay, so let's do one thing. So here in my page 3 itself, which is my error page, let us print even the exception. Okay, so let me just say, so that was the next step which I was going to show. Okay, let us have that to say error is, so I'm going to use this expression to show exception. So if you remember, we had one direct object called exception, right? So this was a implicit object which we had in our implicit object topic, right? So I'm going to use that directly over here, which is my exception is this, right? So whenever you say each page error 2, then I'll be able to use this. You can see when I remove this and save it, right? Now you can see it will give it cannot be resolved, right? So this is something which will qualify this exception, right? Now let me restart the machine. Server, let's go back to the page again. Few things. And click on it. Come on, man. Resource not available. Oh, okay. Sorry. Here itself, the problem was here. Out there. No issues. First, let me just. No, this will work. I just gave the page name of page 6 itself wrong. Right? It says I just gave capital page, right? Now it is small. So that's why it is giving error here, over here. Oh, I didn't notice. So about this, you understood why we are getting the exception here? Right? Sometimes you'll get this. I was actually looking into this part, right? And you can see here, whenever it says resource not available error, right? So this error you will get, more frequently you will be getting this exception, which is resource not found. Now the first reason will be that this page itself is not there. But sometimes, even if you have a page, you will be getting this. Sometimes you will get this, definitely. right? Why you will be getting this is, sometimes what happens is you would have done some changes and it wouldn't have reflected in your deployed Tomcat. Then what you have to do is you have to delete this, delete this, deployed things, and then you have to restart your Tomcat, rebuild your project, and redeploy again. Then the results will work. So you understood the exception, guys? I mean, this error part, which is a application error part, which I was talking about. Okay. Okay. Fine, Ujjwala. Yeah. So let me run this now. We'll just restart the server. Give something here. You can see it, click on go. Now you can see it went to my error page. Some error happened, and please contact admin. And you can see that when we use some implicit object, right, it just gave error is, you can see it will give you a complete error, right? So it is like, we are going to have a complete try catch for that matter, and we are redirecting to this page. Right, so this is how we can actually handle exception handling in this is the first way where how we can actually handle the exception. Right? Where you can see that okay, the exception happened and you're actually showing the exception over here, and you can just say send admin. Or normally what normally what in real time what you should do is whenever any exception happens, right, don't show this, right? Rather you should log this. Right, so whom server is logged in with this user, let us say, right? So with that user, just log this, and whenever you show this error, like some error happened, please contact admin. Then you will be checking out your log files, right? So in that log files, check out this. Never display this sort of exception, because if you're getting some bigger exceptions, maybe end user may not understand that, right? Obviously, end user who doesn't know anything about Java, they will never understand what exactly is happening, right? So you must log this, and whenever you get a request that okay, something has happened, then you can go to your logs and you can just see okay, this was something which has happened, and you can work on it, right? So that is how you can show the exception. This is the first type of handling exception, where we have used three different things, which is the first page directive attribute called error page. So error page attribute is something where you must give the name of error page you want in this JSP, right? And the next thing is error page, which means error page is something which means you are actually qualifying the current page as a complete error page. Anyone can use this page as a error page here. And the next thing is the implicit object. The last implicit object, which was we said we'll be discussing on exception handling, right? Is exception. So this is a direct exception object of your throwable class, if you remember, right? So in your throwable, you can use this exception object, right? Now these are the three things which you can actually use. Now there is one more thing, that if you declare this case directive in a page, right? So this will be handled only till that part of page. We cannot use this across the pages. Let me create one more page here. Call it as page 7. Now here, let me create some exception again. In I is equal to in the array is equal to new thing of 22, and I are some 30 is equal to something. I'm just going to create some array out of bound exception. Doesn't matter, you can create anything, right? Now here what I'm going to do, I'm not handling anything called is, what is the error page for this now? So let us say everything is fine here, right? So let me just comment this and just say route dot print anything 6, and to create an anchor element to move to page 7. Page 7.jsp here, and let me just say go. Right? So what is happening here is whenever I come to page 6, okay, everything is fine. If any exception happens, it will go to this, right? Otherwise, everything will go fine. And in my page 7, when I click on go, it will go to page 7, and I'm not handling anything here. And you can see that, okay, I'm trying to create some exception here, right? So now let us run this site and see what happens now. So here is your and let me take up this. When I click on go, now you can see we are in page 6 and everything went fine, so there is no exception. When I click on go here, now you can see that it gives some exception because there is a code error, right? And you can see it will actually give the actual location. It says 30, line 30, right? Jasper exception in this resource, which is page 7, and at line 13, which means you can see at 13 you are doing something which is not proper, right? The size of array is 2, but you are trying to give some array which is right. And you can see here when you scroll down, you can see something called root cause, right? You can see the complete exception will be printed over here, which is you can see that array out of index, array out of bounds exception. You can see that it is 30. If this 30 is referring to that the value you are using here, right? So this is how you can actually get the page. But this page is never acceptable by any client, right? If you get this, which means yes, you are actually showing this what exactly is happening, but only developer can say okay, I got something what I need. But end user will never like this. Whoever sees this page will just say okay, this is not acceptable, right? Now for that, what we will be doing is we just have to include the attribute, the directive called page directory, in which we will be using attribute called error page. Just say error page will be my error.js. I'm just including one thing, right? Now let's go back and see what happens again. Let's click on restart my server. Go back to the page again. So let me give something from password. Click on go. This is the page 6. Click on go. Right? Now you can see, now it's a decent way of showing your exception. Right? Here you said, okay, there are some exceptions, this content element, and if you want to show, you can show this. So this is how you can actually, spread across, and you can give something called page. Now, the main thing to notice here is we are using page directive, and page directive, any directive, right? It can be page, include, or tag here. As we are working on page directive here, so this will work only to the current page, instance of a page, right? It will not work for across the pages. That is very important, right? Which means if you want to use the same error page for different JSPs, you can actually move on with that. Or you can actually create multiple error pages as such. Right, as we said, each error page is 2, right? We can create one more error page. Let me call it as error.jsp, right? So here in page 7, maybe I can use this also, right? So here I can just say this is some other error page, and you can actually print the exception. Exception is here. You can just declare your expression here, which is an exception. So you can see that we are not able to get the object right, because before using that you have to make sure that you are actually making this as each error page true. Okay, we have your exception. Now that is how we can actually use multiple error pages. You can see this error page I just set true, and I'm using that error page in my second. So let's restart this and go back and check it now. Click on go, which is basic. Click on go. Now you can see this is another error page, right? And we got a same error. So in this way we can have multiple error pages, right? For some set of pages, if you want to use one error page, you can use that in that way, right? So this is the first way where you can actually handle your exception. And the second way is like, if you don't want to handle this. Yeah, Jonah.
Okay, I have a question.
Sure.
Earlier you have showed that the developer the stack trace, right? If we don't use the page directive, we get the stack trace.
Yes.
So developer needs to see that way, right? And the user needs to see different way, the error. So how can you make it both means when the error user gets error?
Okay.
Sometimes the developer needs we need the stack trace, right?
Okay.
So here is the error and all.
Yeah. For that.
How can we do both things on the same page?
Yeah. Yeah. For that, you can actually go for exception handling through web.xml. So that is the next way actually how we are going to see, right? Now here, if you want to actually check this out, right? Let me handle one thing here in my page 7. Let me handle try catch. Anyways, I am going to use this exception error page as true, right? My exception E, and let me just print this, which is my out dot print of E dot get message. Right. So let me take this. Right. Now I have handled this, and I'm also handling my try catch. Let me just check this out once. Restart your server. Go back to the page. We have handled this and click on go. And click on go again. Now it will go to this, and it is showing direct value as page 730. Now this is something where I'm handling my exception. Can you see this? It didn't go to error page, right? So this is exception. So in my page 7, I directly handle this, and let me call it as exception at page 7. Okay. So go back. Click on go. There's 6. Click on go. Now you can see error page so and so, which is 30. Now here what we are doing is we are not actually going to the error page, right? We are not actually going to the error page. We are just handling everything over here. Now which means you are not allowing your page directly to move on and use that, right? Now let's go back and do one thing. Let us say I don't have this, which is my I'm not going to handle this, and here what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say response dot send redirect to my page called, let us call it as some error page.jsp itself. Here I'm going to send my error page, send back to the error page through my try catch, right? Now let us see what happens over here. Click on go. The page 6, click on go. Right, now you can see that it came to page 6, it came to error page, but you can see that it is null. Now why it is giving null here is because of this. What you are doing is you are actually handling your exception here, right? And whenever you don't say that it's a page error as this, whenever it goes to the error page, this throwable exception object will not get anything, because you have to allow error page to handle it. So let me just uncomment this. And now I'm saying that okay, this I'm actually using my error page as this, and even if you handle the exception here, if you actually go through try catch, even then now you can see what happens here. It won't give you the value. Click on go, right, again, because you are actually handling your exception now. So in order to give answer to Ujjwala's question, right? So it is like during development. So whenever you get error, right? So you will be getting one error model, which is error statement, which you will be getting from page, right? So whenever you actually log it in your page, you are actually showing the error in page, right? Which is this. I was talking about this. So if you do something here, click on go here. Now you are actually getting something over here, right? So you are actually showing some part of your exception to this, and you will be logging a continuous trace into your exception class, right? Which is in your logs you will find at what place you have got, you actually got the error, right? Every time, because you will be logging. Okay, here you will just say okay, I'm going to use an array. That's why each and every step of your JSP or servlet or anything, you have to log what exactly you're doing, right? So wherever your error got stopped, which means the error would have happened at their place, right? Or let me just go back here and just say dot. Here you have something called your stack trace, right? So if you want to log your bug, let me just show you this stack trace here. Click on go. Now you can see this stack trace element is something which is a memory element, right? You can actually go back and read this memory element when you save this up. Now this will give you something called array. Now what I'm going to do here is, let us say I'm taking this as triplet. Exception dot we have something called get stack mix, right? So now here this is what you have, and every time so here we have an item dot, you have something called, you can directly make it to string. Let us make it as method name. Let me just print it as stack trace. Because so whatever you can see in your normal classes, right, where when you are handling try catch. So here we are handling try catch with e.getMessage, right? So this e.getMessage is something which we are actually printing up over here, which is here this, right? Before that we just printed something, right? If you remember this, that we print a direct value, right? So that is what actually we are printing. We are actually printing that exception part. Now when I just print, this is same as printing something called e.getMessage. Right? So now let us run, because we are handling something here. Restart the server. We can go here. Now you can see we have got the complete stack trace. Right, Ujjwala? So what you can do here is, let me just say, Yes. Yeah, yeah. Right? Now you can see the complete stack trace. Now this stack trace you are going to log into some files, log files, right? And you will be showing this complete stack trace part to user. Right? Yeah. Okay, so that is how you can actually get the stack and print up. So always, yeah, okay. Always try to use this, or even if you are doing try catch, you can also do that. This exception handling class, but don't go with that. So whenever you have a common error page, always try to use a common error page, right? So that is how you should handle the exception handling in JSPs, right? Now here you can see the second way is you can actually use a try catch, right, in order to handle your exception. Now this try catch is something which will suppress your implicit object called exception, right? You won't get handling of your complete exception to this, right? Because you are actually handling it over here itself, right? Now it is all it's all in your requirement, like how you are going to think about like what exactly you are going to do, right? Now that is how you can design your exception handling in your JSP pages. Now the next way is, which is you can say that it's the most used way or not, that if you feel that for a complete web application, if there is only one error page you want to show, right? Let's say, let me create, okay, you can maybe use this page, or let me create one more error page. Let me call it as error global, right? Let us say here's my error global error page. So this is global error page, right? So if you want to use this page as error page, anyways, you can actually mention everywhere in every page that okay, this is my error page. But if you know that there is only one error page, why do you need to create a error to again and again, right? So for that reason, what you can do is you have an option in web.xml that why we are getting this exception also. Right? Let's go to web.xml. So in web.xml you can actually define your error page thing. Now in web.xml, which is a configuration file of a complete website, right, you have a simple tag called error page. So in this error page you can actually give what error page you want to register. Whenever any error happens, you want to go to the complete error page. So for that you have to first mention your exception type. So for what exception type you want to go. Now here you have to give the complete exception type, guys, which is, let me take that exception, which is Java dot, you have your line dot your exception, right? So for this complete exception class, come on, give me complete, come on, because exception it is auto imported, right? So that's why we are not working this. Just make it as this, and then let me just say exception. Cut it out. Okay. Now, which means for this complete exception class, whatever I get an exception, I have to, or I want to go to some location called my global error, which is JSP page, which is my global error. Okay. So this is how what is happening. Multiple annotations, complex type 2, there is no children who must have background issues. Okay. So these are, you can actually mention that okay, it's an exception type. So for this exception type, I want to go to this. So that is what you can mention. So let us check this out. Now for this, you don't have to give any error page sort of thing, right? So now let me create one more page, which is page 8. So in this page here, I don't want to handle anything. So let me close this my error page and error.jsp. I only have my error global. Right? Now here, let me create a simple scriptlet. If I is equal to 10 divided by 0. Something. Now from my page 6, what I'm going to do here is, I'll just call my page 8 here. Okay. So from my index.jsp, I'll go to page 6. So when I click on go, it will go to page 8, and I'm not handling any sort of exception over here, right? Now let me rebuild this project. Restart the server. Now whenever you change your web configuration, always try to restart. Anyways, Tomcat 7 or latest web servers are, they are good enough that, even if you have any XML change, they'll actually load the complete XML in their containers, right? Now let's go back to the page. You have your this password, click on go. So now go to page 6, click on go here. Now you can see it will go to global error page. Now this global error page is something which you are actually displaying directly in your page, right? Because you are embedding this. So that is how you can actually use. So you can see here I'm not using any sort of directive here, right? But this is something which is one type of exception handling, which is the global exception handling, where you will be using your error page as such, right? Now that is how you can actually go ahead with it. Right? And in this error page itself, you will have, if you want to make this as error page, because let us say I want to use some we call error happen, and you want to show the error, let us say, right? I can see you can't get the exception object. Why? Because you have to make this page as error page. So this you can actually do, because this is a one-time thing you have to do that. Okay, is error page is true, and you can just say exception. Now let us run this. Restart my server now. Go back to the page. Click on go. Click on go. Right, now you can see it is in global, but you can see that even though exception is, you can actually get the exception directly to that. Right. Only thing what you have to do is you have to create a global some JSP which you want to handle it as a global error page, and you just have to make sure that, okay, even if you don't want to handle exception, fine, but that is not the way, right? You have to get the exception what exactly it is happening, because you have to log it to some nonsense, right? So for that, just make this page as is error page 2, which means it is completely working under your JVM exception class, right? And whenever any exception happens, it will catch that exception and it will actually store it in your exception object, which is implicit object. And you can actually log the details, whatever you want from this object, right? And the second thing what you have to do is... Yeah, Ujjwala?
Yeah, good, sir. Okay, I wanted to know what will make different to make it error global page.
See, we are not using a page that we call. I'm not, giving to my page 8 that what is error page.
Okay.
Right.
So, did we define anything that says okay, it's an error global page?
We didn't define. No. These are only name I gave. Yes, we have defined. We have registered this JSP in my web.xml. That here I just gave error global.jsp. That whenever I mention error page in my web.xml, which means automatically.
Okay, got it.
That is why I registered. Right? Okay. Yeah, I was talking about the second point. And second thing is you have to define your error page here, right? Because this error page will actually, monitor each and every, whenever any exception happens, automatically it will move to this page. Now here you can see that you can actually mention this for multiple error types. I just gave one type, right? So whatever internal types are there, which is java.lang, let us say arithmetic error, you can actually create arithmetic error, right? which means for particular errors you want to go to some page. You can actually do. So, and you can actually have your error page, any number of error pages, even in your web browser extension, right? So this, in this error page, right, let us see one more type, which is exception or error code. So let us say you can actually handle some error codes too. Let us say continuously in any page, if you get something called 500 error code, maybe at that time you want to go to some other location. Even this is possible, right? Even this is possible. So these two ways are possible. You can actually handle the complete exception, or you can just go ahead and just say something called arithmetic something, right? Arithmetic exception or array out of bounds exception, and you can actually create multiple error pages as such. Okay. Now you may be getting one doubt, like if I handle both exception and a child exception, what happens? Obviously first it will go to the child and then it will go to the parent exception class. Okay. So that is what happens when you actually handle the exception via web.xml. And now you can choose like which type of you want to use. Yeah.
I have one question, like if we have some other error pages and we give them directives, suppose we have used page directives for them. So what happens if directly first goes to the global?
No, it will go to the page directory which you have called.
Okay, then at the end it will go to the error global by default?
That's it. I mean it will override, because whenever you are defining some, okay, let me run that part. You can see that. Okay, let's say you have page 7, right? So when I click on page 7, so in my page 7, I'm actually handling my page called error page, right? So you have a doubt that whether it goes to error.jsp or error.global.jsp, right?
Yeah.
Let me run this. Okay. Sometimes it will go to global also. Let me just run this. Click on go. Now you can see it went to some other page, sir, which is a specific page. Okay, it didn't go to it overrided this page. Yeah? Okay. So that is a complete exception handling in Java we have. I mean, sorry, not in Java, in JSPs as such we have, right? Because JSPs where you have to handle a complete HTML error too, right? So that's why you can actually use this one. Fine. So that is about exception handling quickly. So from tomorrow we'll start action tags, which is JSP action tags, which is very important topic in Java JSPs, where you will get something called beans, right? In Java beans, actually you will get Java beans in which is a JSP standard action, right? So we will start standard actions and see how we can actually move with that. Okay? So any more questions here? You guys have any questions, like what exactly, how any process questions in this exception handling or any part of JSP?